The government has now given a choice in the case of real estate to either take the new tax rate without indexation or stick to the old tax rate with indexation. GRIP offers listed securities, and hence when you think about taxation as an investor, you should look at the taxation for listed products. To that extent, the taxation has become actually better for investors. The tax slabs are lower. One of the latest things we've done is to launch a feature called baskets. It creates a theme, and behind that theme there are 4 or 5 bonds or SDIs that automatically get pooled together. Whatever the theme is, there is a basket, and within one click you can invest in a diversified pool of securities.
Hello everyone, welcome to Cut the Noise, where we talk about all the financial topics that you are interested in and demystify them. I am Ashish Jindal, CPO and co-founder at Grip Invest, and today we are going to talk about taxes and the changes in the budget that has happened recently. And we have today Nikhil Agarwal, Group CEO of Grip, who is going to talk about them. So Nikhil, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Ashish.
Cut the Noise. So let's start with very basic question. What are these changes about, and how do these impact any average investor in India?
Sure. I think a lot of people were caught by surprise with the changes that were made in the budget. There have been changes across all types of investment assets, but I'll talk about a few basic structural changes that have come to attention. Number one, there's been a parity brought between investments. So all listed investments have a similar taxation, and all unlisted investments have a similar taxation.
Can you give quick example of थोड़े से listed investments and unlisted investments?
So for example, shares in the market, stocks are listed investments. Same way, bonds, majority of bonds, especially those which are available on GRIP, are also listed investments. But if you have unlisted shares and unlisted bonds, those are classified as unlisted securities.
Got it.
And they have a different tax treatment.
Got it.
There is clearly a preference that the finance ministry is bringing with the listed securities.
Great.
Second difference that has been brought, big change that has been brought, is with respect to indexation benefits. Indexation benefits have been taken away for majority of asset classes. There was a change made subsequently for real estate, but otherwise that has gone away, and that's a big change as well for investors.
I have always been very curious about this indexation. So can we double click on this
Sure.
indexation thing?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming this is changing second time in a row now. Even last year something's changed around it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Let's say you made an investment 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And you invested 100 rupees.
Yeah.
It became 200 rupees. But over those 10 years, there was also inflation.
बिल्कुल.
Things became more expensive.
Right.
Now let's assume that inflation was 5% every year. On a simple basis, it became 50 rupees of inflation.
Right.
So your 100 rupees 10 years ago actually was worth 150 rupees.
Right.
Now there are two ways to look at profit. Either you can say my profit is 200 minus 100, which is
बिल्कुल.
100.
Right.
Or on real terms, after adjusting for inflation, it is 200 minus 150.
Which is 50 rupees.
Which is 50 rupees.
Right.
The principle of indexation is that investors should not be penalized for inflation rate, because in reality that is not returns that they have made.
Right.
It has been lost to higher expenses or increased price of goods. So when indexation benefits came, your profit was only 50, and hence the tax you had to pay was lower. What has changed in this budget is that for most asset classes, those indexation benefits have taken away. And if you are in a country like India, where there is 5-6% inflation, you need to significantly beat it
Right.
for you to be then able to make profit and pay tax.
So this is clearly wrong. I didn't know this, and hence I was okay.
Yeah.
But this is clearly not in investors' favor.
Yeah, if you think of an example where you invested, same example, you invested 100 rupees and it became 150. Inflation
Is also
was
same.
150, so your profit actually is 0, but you made 50 rupees as per no indexation benefits, and at a 20% tax, you ended up paying 10 rupees. So in real terms, you end up making a loss of actually 10 rupees.
Shit.
Yeah.
And worst part, I didn't know about this.
Unfortunately, most
People don't know.
financial awareness is limited. We are not aware of many things. Even maybe going slightly off topic, but I don't know how many people think about when they do daily trading the cost of daily trading.
Right.
Do they think about the cost of buying, selling, or do they just think about the notional price benefit? I think it's important for investors to factor in all of these costs as they think about investments.
Sure, bilkul, and I think people, at least now who are following Cut the Noise, are more aware and can ask these questions. My next question, so this is just one of the maybe investors' concern that you just addressed. Are there any more concerns of sorts that you have heard from people and you would like to mention?
To be honest, this has been the biggest concern, and I think it has such a large impact to investors that any other reaction to this would have been different. To be fair, because the government took away indexation benefits, most capital tax rates have reduced. Okay, so whatever was say 20% earlier has become 12.5%, and hence they have in that manner tried to offset the benefits of losing the cost of losing indexation with lower tax rates. So investors did not have to complain about lower tax rates, but indexation was definitely a loss. I think that has happened subsequently because of feedback from citizens is that the government has now given a choice in the case of real estate to either take the new tax rate without indexation or stick to the old tax rate with indexation.
Got it.
So taxpayers now have a choice in the case of real estate of what to choose.
Interesting.
But it does not depend upon the amount of investment.
Got it. All these changes are happening, and some are maybe very extreme, some are being set off by some other changes. How does all this impact GRIP investments and the products on GRIP?
Yeah. First of all, GRIP offers listed securities, and hence, when you think about taxation as an investor, you should look at the taxation for listed products. To that extent, the taxation has become actually better for investors. The tax slabs are lower. That's one thing. Number two is, bonds and SDIs, most investors hold to maturity. So there is actually no capital gains tax that they end up paying, or very little capital gains tax that they end up paying at the end of the life of the product. What they end up paying actually is taxation on interest income, because the biggest source of income is the monthly interest payments that come to an investor.
Right.
There is no change, and hence to that extent, these tax regulations do not, or the changes in the budget do not impact majority of bond and SDI investors. If you are someone who is actively trading in bonds and SDIs, which is rare, you may have a capital gains event, either a loss or a profit, in which case now you have lower tax rate but with no indexation.
Got it. So basically, for usual investors like me, there's no change in taxation for us, and we can keep on investing the way we are doing.
Correct.
Great. Then, given these changes are happening, people either fear new things or they just don't care enough, right? Are there any changes on the platform in investor experience? Are we planning on GRIP for making it easier for people to understand?
Yeah, I think that's been a big focus, and you said it yourself. Like you do not appreciate the impact of indexation. I think there are many things about financial products that, just by the fact that we are not taught about it in school or college, it becomes very complicated for us. We understand that bonds and SDIs are new investments for many people, and to make it simple, one of the latest things we've done is to launch a feature called baskets. It creates a theme, and behind that theme there are 4 or 5 bonds or SDIs that automatically get pooled together.
Got it.
So as an investor, you can come and say, my objective is to achieve high returns, or my objective is to invest for a short tenure, or my objective is to invest in really high rated products.
Got it.
Whatever the theme is, there is a basket, and within one click you can invest in a diversified pool of securities.
And I think what is even better, that people or investors don't have to go to a new platform to avail these new features, and they are available right there. So now on an ending note, any general advice for investors out there, given the environments will keep on changing, stock market was opened low yesterday, or changes keep on happening, any general advice that you would want to give to the investors?
I think there's only one that stays consistent across time, because whenever you see this podcast, that advice should still be applicable. So it's not about doing something now versus something later, but I think diversification is something that has always worked for people. if nothing else, it reduces your overall risk and worry about what may happen to your portfolio. Whether the stock market goes up or down, you have something to counter it. Same way for fixed income investments like bonds and SDIs. So I think, especially as we see more volatility, we see more uncertainty, and we're seeing more of it in the world consistently, the only advice is to focus on diversification, whatever your choice of assets may be.
Got it. So बहुत ही philosophical level पे from indexation to diversification. That was Nikhil Agarwal with us, and thank you for staying till the end of the video and helping us cut the noise around any market topics or financial topics. And I learned a lot today for sure about this indexation and the changes in the taxes that happened. Hope you learned as well. See you in the next video. Till then, follow our channel for more such exciting videos.
Investments in debt securities, municipal debt securities, securitized debt instruments are subject to risks including delay and or default in payment. Read all the offer related documents carefully.